That is something the Prime Minister is clearly a global champion on.
Prime Minister, of course, is a very impressive person who understands business.
It was very interesting. It was actually exciting. In the last less than 5 years under Modi, your economy's grown to the 3.5 trillion.
Warm welcome. We are very proud of you. Thank you. You are a great leader of India. Thank you.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in the third leg of his ongoing foreign tour, met with executives from major Australian corporations. During his meetings, he urged Australian business leaders to collaborate with the Indian corporate community in the fields of technology, skill development and clean energy. PM Modi arrived in Sydney on Monday. While in Australia, he will meet with his Australian counterpart Anthony Albanese and later on will be welcomed by members of Indian diaspora in Australia. His itinerary includes a meeting with Australian CEOs like Andrew Forrest, Executive Chairman of Fortescue Future Industries, Paul Schroeder, CEO of Australian Super, and Gina Reinhardt, Executive Chairman, Hancock Prospecting.
We acknowledged together that the fossil fuel sector has only limited time to run, and it must be replaced with a fuel which causes no harm but can do everything which coal, oil and gas can do. That is something the Prime Minister is clearly a global champion on, and I've invited the Prime Minister to be, if you like, the global government partner. I'll be the global industry partner to promote green hydrogen across the world. I also thanked him for his humanitarian efforts. Under Prime Minister Modi, he's been able to spread economic growth throughout the grassroots of India. This has really helped with eliminating one country after another. We all have to do it, slavery from India, and I showed my gratitude.
Prime Minister, of course, is a very impressive person who understands business, which is very encouraging as well. The Prime Minister talked about his dreams for India and his ethic, which was a really powerful message. Australian Super does invest in India, of course, and in particular the National Indian Infrastructure Fund. And we've had very good experience in investing in India.
It was very interesting. It was actually exciting. The potential for our two countries is huge. Your economy was around 1 trillion GDP, 2 trillion at 7 years, and starting of that was under Prime Minister Modi. In the last less than 5 years under Modi, your economy's grown to the 3.5 trillion. And the plans are getting put in place now for in the next 25 years to grow to 32 trillion. So the growth recently has been huge. The growth in future is going to be huge. You know, Australia really needs to work harder to develop its relations with India. You just need to look at the investment that has flowed to India from, I think it's about 60 different countries under Prime Minister. As you know, your wonderful Prime Minister came to office on a terribly important mantra, which was from red tape to red carpet. In other words, cut approvals, cut regulations, so you can welcome investment. And that's what he's done, and that's what he wants to do for his country.
PM Modi will also meet and interact with influencers in Australia. He will meet with the Indian diaspora at Sydney's Hubie Arena Stadium with Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese in attendance. According to reports, the 20,000-seater stadium has been sold out. The event is being hosted by Indian Australian Diaspora Foundation, which, according to a report published by the Sydney Morning Herald, has Jay Shah and Rahul Jethhi as directors. Ahead of Prime Minister Modi's arrival, Prime Minister Albanese said in a statement, the Indian Prime Minister was due to visit Australia for a Quad meeting, but Australia cancelled the meeting altogether after American President Joe Biden expressed his inability to attend it. PM Modi is the only Quad leader to visit Australia as planned despite the Quad meeting cancellation. India and Australia have already implemented an interim free trade agreement on December 29th last year. The two nations are now engaged in widening the scope of that agreement into a comprehensive economic cooperation agreement. In 2022-23, Australia will rank as India's 13th largest trading partner. While Indian exports to Australia were valued at $6.95 billion, imports from Australia amounted to $19 billion during the same period. India is Australia's top export market for goods like gold and chickpeas, as well as its second and third largest markets for coal and copper ores and wood and lead.